Up through the 80s, really, Nintendo was dominating the video game market, killing Sega's Master System, basically installing themselves in almost every kid's home in America. Sega needed to combat that.
What does Sega do? They put all their money into R&D. They developed the Genesis, a fantastic new console. They put the Genesis out there, and then just like a political campaign, step one, flood the market with negative advertisements, try to knock Nintendo down a notch or two in the public eye.
Came out with this crazy marketing campaign in which they're like, Sega does what Nintendo don't. I mean, Sega was so aggressive when the Genesis came out.
Step two, grow the market. If Nintendo has a lock on the 10-year-olds, well then go after the older brothers, go after the high school seniors, and then if they like Sega and think that it's cool, their younger brothers will eventually come along and go, oh, I want to play the cool system too, just like my big brother.
In Sega's advertising, they're like, well, you know what? Nintendo's for little kids. We are for you. We are for the teenagers. We are for, we're a little bit more edgy. We're cool. That's baby stuff.
Now, how is Sega going to get their hands on these older kids? Well, they released a lot of sports games. That's always popular with high school and college kids. And then they signed up a lot of celebrities. They had Arnold Palmer Golf, they had Pat Riley's basketball, they had Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Sega went out there and got a lot of endorsements, a lot of celebrities, and that's something Nintendo had really avoided. Nintendo made a celebrity. They had Mario, they had Zelda. Those were their celebrities. Sega didn't have anything like that, so they had to go out and get people like Madden, Buster Douglas Boxing, Joe Montana Sports Talk Football.
Granted, the games may or may not have been great, but they used names that this older group of people would recognize.
And they also brought back all the arcade classics like Golden Axe and Shinobi. A little 10-year-old's not going to know what these are, but if you're in high school or college, you're going to remember these, and maybe you want them for your home system.
Basically, Sega had a history of making really good arcade games. For the first time, you could play arcade-like versions of Strider, Altered Beast, Space Harrier.
Sega also produced games that were more intellectually stimulating, you should say, like games that are geared toward older kids. Sword of Vermilion is a good example. These are complex role-playing games.
More complex adult games like Phantasy Star or Populous, which to this day I can't figure out.
And then Sega also had wackier, more indie fare, like they had a Ren and Stimpy game, they had Toe Jam and Earl, to kind of appeal to that artsy, cool crowd.
Same with Echo the Dolphin. It's a very original game that's not like anything out there, and there may be a reason for that, but you gotta hand it to them, it's unique.
Now everything's going well for Sega, but they're missing one thing. Nintendo, well, they've got mascots. They've got Mario, they've got Zelda, they've got Donkey Kong, they have all these great characters.
Nintendo has this cast of characters that have worked their way into people's hearts. And, whenever you think of Nintendo, I instantly think of Mario. The Sega doesn't have this yet.
So they have a big board meeting and they go, what can we do? What kind of character can we come up with? And amazingly, they actually came up with something cool. They came up with Sonic the Hedgehog. It was fast, it was furious, it was kind of out there, it was a little edgy, it had spiky hair, he had attitude, it was everything that was Sega.
And it was huge. It was a reason to buy the system, and a reason to buy a new system before the Super Nintendo came out.